Hi, and welcome to the Psychic Hour, a live call-in show where you can get the answers to your most challenging questions concerning life, love, or the afterlife. Starring Cindi Sansone-Braff, the romance whisperer, a relationship expert with a twist. She talks to the dead to teach you how to live well and love better. Named Best Psychic 6 times by the Long Island Press, she is the author of Grant Me a Higher Love, Why Good People Can't Leave Bad Relationships, and Confessions of Reluctant Long Island Psychic. Joining her tonight and always is the show's producer and host, Nicole Semidei. Nicole, a talented artist, writer, entrepreneur, and intuitive, shares her unique perspective on the Grant Me a Higher Love philosophy, which is the spiritual foundation of their show. So let's see if we put Karen through.
Okay. All right.
Because Karen is lovely and we love her. And hi, Karen. Thank you for
Hi,
joining
Karen.
us tonight. So, Karen, how was your birthday?
Good. I just got back last night from Punta Cana.
Oh, my goodness. How was that?
I know. Relaxing. I spent the whole time on the beach. It's beautiful.
Nice.
That's it. I went by myself, Nicole.
Oh,
Good
wow.
for you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Now,
it was nice.
that's
All by myself.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, that's part of the Grant Me a Higher Love philosophy. If you're going to get out there and have a life, you can't wait till someone else is going to do it with you because no one leaves the house anymore. So sometimes you just got to get out and tell us as a woman how it felt to travel on your own.
You know what? I felt very safe. I have to say the resort was nice. The staff was friendlier than the people this trip.
Okay.
Like last year I went to Aruba with my stepdaughter and everybody was so much friendlier.
Okay.
The people there they were nice. They'd say hello, but they weren't very open to a single person. There were a lot of groups of either they were very young or they were older, or there was a lot of groups there that kind of stayed to themselves of 10, it was a little weird.
Okay.
But I also went to sit on the beach with a book, and then I just have a drink, and then I'd watch a show and then just go. So I didn't see anybody that I'd make a connection with or talk. It was a couple of couples that were nice, but they weren't overly nice. Does that make sense?
Okay, we're going to work on the fact that no one communicates anymore.
True.
They look at their phones and they don't look at anybody else. And, that's something that has to stop. And anyway, when I picked up my phone, it said, Marianne's studio, Riverside. Is Marianne trying to get into our studio? I don't know. Do you see a Marianne? Okay, when you travel, get outside the comfort zone and talk to people that you don't know. People used to talk and communicate. I think we've forgotten that. COVID took away a lot of that. People saw someone and they ran away from them. But, it's not a very friendly world that way. And it's, we need to meet people and get out there.
No.
This show is based on the Grant Me a Higher Love philosophy. And interesting enough, someone asked me today, well, do you ever do podcasts about that?
Duh.
I guess we do. But
we were doing podcasts about it before they were even called podcasts.
It was just called a radio show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
a radio show.
Back then it was it was just considered a blog. It was a video blog or a vlog.
A vlog, right.
A vlog, I think, is what it was.
That's what it was. Okay,
yeah.
So let's talk about the ladder of love, okay? And if you remember, at the higher end is a soulmate, someone we love, heart, soul, mind, and body. And we feel that instant connection. Karen, you remember having that once in your life, right? When you had that very deep connection. Now, what I want to talk about today, because it's the same questions over and over from my new clients when they meet a soulmate, it doesn't work out. Why isn't it working out? Why is it, if it's a soulmate, why isn't it happily ever after? I don't understand that. So basically, why doesn't it always work out? Because people have unhealed issues. Okay, how many people have had a soulmate that didn't maintain itself? I think probably everybody. Okay? So I want to blow that myth. I mean, really, could you imagine my job? I'm telling them, look, the person's got commitment issues, which is usually the major problem. They've got some sort of commitment phobia, or they're in the committed relationship and then the unhealed issues surface and they decide to go to their drug of choice, whether it's abusing drugs or cheating or doing something stupid, and it blows up the love. And they keep saying, but if it's my soulmate, then why isn't it working? Because we can't fix people. And if someone doesn't want to heal themselves and overcome their fears, I don't care how great a love it is, it's not going to maintain itself. So it's painful. Would you girls admit it's painful if you've had a soulmate that couldn't step up to the plate or wouldn't maintain
I
it?
saw her. Cindy, until I met you, I thought there was only one soulmate out there in the world. And one of the reasons why I was so depressed at that time, I knew Mike was a soulmate, and I knew I was, I had a great love, and I knew what, where I was going, where we went wrong losing it at that point. And I really thought I would never, there was only one per person. And then when I met you and you explained that there's multiple out there, and I read the book and I understood why, it really helped me, your book, understand why our soulmate love went wrong, and that to get ready to accept a new one and be ready.
People will text me all day long, again and again, but if she's my soulmate, if he's my soulmate, I don't understand this. And 2025 is a year of energy. And God wants us to move with the speed of light. Computers like this, everything moves faster, okay? Until it doesn't move, okay? But it moves very fast. And God doesn't want us spending 5 years with a person who can't move a relationship forward, who jerks you around, who says we're going to get together. And I used to be really patient in the past with my clients. And, I've been doing this 30 years. And 5-7 years have passed, and these people are still jerked around by the same person. Now, this is a year when we're going to go very simple. Is this a good vibe or a bad vibe? If this person is not a good vibe, and you're not feeling good, and you're for months and months the same issue, they come forward, they're following your social media, they call you for a second or text you for a second, and then they run. That is not a good vibe. And we have to stop being too patient with people, because I've watched my clients be deprived of motherhood and relationships because the person would not step up to the plate for 20 years, or they'd been with 4 different people that wouldn't step up to the plate. So this is a year where if you're getting a reading from me, I'm going to be saying to you, we're going to give this person 3 months. And if it doesn't move forward, you're not going to be saying, oh, well, now she contacted me and what happened of it? Where did it go? What did it do? In everything, we have to start moving faster, not staying stuck so long, because it isn't healthy. It really isn't healthy. And all of us probably would say we stayed too long at a job with a person, kept family members in our life that were toxic, that were not good vibes. So no more overthinking. Old souls are very overthinkers. Let's raise our hand on that one. Now, Spirit has been telling me lately this. We don't give a why someone's doing what they're doing. Okay? If it's not good and it's not positive and it's not a good vibe, it's not good. Okay? No more excuses for abuse. We are overly patient. And when we overthink things, we try to psychoanalyze. Why did someone do this? Maybe their mommy did this. Maybe their daddy did this. Why did they do that? Maybe they were hurt. Why did... No more psychoanalyzing people. We've all are very sharp and very fast at understanding people nowadays. Watch movies from the 40s. Remember how slow they move? It takes forever to get into a story. Because now you jump right into the story, right? And everybody follows it, okay? So, no more overthinking. Why is this person doing this? Did I do something? It is a waste of your energy. We're talking energy. It drains you to think Why is my boss being the way they are? Why is my boss doing this? Why? Letting them get in your head and make you crazy. Figure out they don't like good people. They don't like you because you're good. Get them out of your head. But any people that are draining you, and I will tell you, Spirit's not going to be patient with you. I'm telling you, they're going to make us speed forward. Because pretty much if you're letting people drain you, you're not going to be able to get out of bed. You're going to be so drained. So are we all in agreement that we have over psychoanalyzed the world and everybody in it? Trying to figure out why, the why.
Possible.
And and by now we pretty much have a pretty good idea in 2 seconds why they're doing it.
It's possible.
Okay, it's possible. So
I feel like I'm better at that this year.
That's what is in the ether that was brought down in 2024. It's really, let's get the world living in peace. Let's have more soulmate relationships, friendships, love, because they teach peace, love, and joy. Staying too long in toxic relationships is a very deadly thing to do. It is deadly for your health. You know, you've all listened to this show long enough and have heard people called in very toxic relationships, and they're in those relationships, and then somewhere along the line, 3 years into the calling, they have cancer. They have a major illness. Why are we not surprised? Because that's what toxic love does. So soulmate is that top of the ladder of love. That heart, soul, mind, body, knock your socks off. But will it be maintained? Depends on the two people involved, okay? And if one of them's an unfixable, and that's a very easy term to remember. Everybody knows what an unfixable is that listens to our show. A manipulator, okay? Pushes your guilt buttons, lies, judges, tells half-truths, okay? Judges everybody else. Try to walk away from these people after you've bailed them out 1,000 times, okay? And they're not accountable for their own behaviors. An unfixable makes it impossible to bring soulmate love back up to soulmate if this person's over the age of 25. It's really hard to do. So no more staying with people that are really not willing to change. Now, most love isn't soulmate. I'm going to ask Nicole, I'm going to ask Karen, has anybody ever had a mediocre version of love? Probably when we were young, okay? Might have felt like a soulmate at first, maybe, you know, wasn't meant to last forever. But mediocre versions of love can last forever, but they're not supposed to. Okay, they start getting, you know, we don't heal anymore, we don't grow. Okay, the narcissistic rung, you know, when I wrote Grant Me a Higher Love and finished it in 2008, wasn't as apparent as it is now. It wasn't quite so much the dating apps, the Tinders, all of that. There was online dating, but it wasn't like now.
It was just like Match.
There was
Match and Harmony. Those are the only ones.
Right, but it was kind of still not everyone using it.
No, not at all.
But now it's become this get one, throw it away all the time, interchangeable love. This happens, I hear it all the time. Someone runs from a higher love. Remember, we always say on the show, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the higher love you're offering them. And you offer them a higher love, and they run away from it. They're rejecting that higher love. And then they'll see the person that they're online dating or they're dating, and they'll see the picture of the person, and the person they're dating looks exactly like them. Now they think they're going to go from a soulmate and put someone that looks like them, and that's going to be a soulmate. That doesn't work. But the really bad relations are toxic love, cellmate love. And boy, anybody can get involved in one of those. And it's when you're with an unfixable, that becomes toxic pretty much. And if we have to relive our parents' marriage, that gets pretty toxic too. So for a lot of people. So basically understand the ladder of love and figure out where you fit on that ladder. Now, Karen, the problem you're having is you can't date a narcissistic rung, can you?
No. I don't even have patience. If there's no connection or spark right away, I don't want to talk to them and waste time.
How about a man to fit a plan? Would you want that?
I tried that. I dated somebody after Mike for 3 months, and by the end of the third month, I'm like, it's a waste. I'd rather be home in my pajamas than be out with him.
Now, I like the
I
way
knew that
you
was
said
bad.
3 months, because we
I
all
did.
know,
I tried for 3 months.
and love is very scientific. The first,
And he was a nice guy. I would have, he was fine. But there was no spark there.
wow. And that's the whole point. That 3 month mark is when most relationships fall apart, okay? Even if they're a soulmate, by the way. It takes about 3 months from the first month, the love's so strong it overcomes fear. Second month, the fear kicks in. The third month, they run. If it's only a narcissistic run, it gets boring, the excitement's gone, it's over. If it's a mediocre version of love, that can happen as well. But that's why I don't like to do readings for people unless they've known someone at least 3 months. It's really a waste. It could go either way. But how many people call into our show after a month and they want to know about the relationship? And I'm like, it's not enough time yet to determine. I mean, you could have the heart, soul, mind, body connection because that's an instant connection. But is it going to maintain itself? We got to see if the fear kicks in. And remember, when we talk about soulmate love, we talk about Kairos time and Chronos time. Chronos time being, we had a show that should have gone on at 7 o'clock and didn't. And then there's Kairos time, soul time. Do you remember having that experience when you've met a soulmate that just feels like you've always known them, very comfortable? It's amazing. It's amazing to have a soulmate that you just feel that instant connection. Okay. And that's why when people feel it, they think, oh, I'm never going to have that again. But we do have more than one soulmate. Nicole, do you think you've had more than one soulmate in your life?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And there's all different levels of soulmates too. A very low level of soulmates, hard to tell from a man or woman to fit a plan. It's not that much higher. Do you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
But a very high soulmate really knocks your socks off and changes the way you view the world. Okay? And also, the ending of a soulmate love feels like a death. Karen, remember mourning for the ending of your marriage?
Yeah, it was hard. There was a lot of blame for myself and a lot of work I had to do. But I really thought I ruined it or I did it. I had to realize and step back that, we both made a lot of mistakes and we both, and he did a lot and I did a lot and together it was definitely, could have went, it had to go that way.
And it is a very difficult period. That's what I find with my clients. They don't want to do the mourning period. They keep contacting the person, and once it goes from soulmate down to cellmate or mediocre down, it becomes addictive.
Yeah.
It becomes like heroin. It is not good for you, and you go back for more. And then I'll tell them, look, you can't speak to this person for at least 3 months. It takes 3 months to break an addiction. The 2.5 month, they're back talking to the person. And then we got to start the whole process again. And what are we trying to do? Avoid the mourning process. Okay. And it feels like a death. Unbelievable. Feels like a death. And I find people distract. They start going there, doing this, doing that, trying to meet someone new. Just live in the pain. It's something people don't want to do. They don't want to feel the pain. And sadly, if you don't do the suffering of life, you become very neurotic. The people who have truly suffered deeply really stop being neurotic. You start realizing what matters and what doesn't matter. And we have to analyze what went wrong. Karen, do you think you did your inner homework on that one? Figuring out?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Especially working with you for all these years. You're very good with telling me what, especially if I needed a little more guidance on one thing. So I definitely did a lot of my homework, for sure.
And taking responsibility sometimes for the fact that we've enabled somebody.
Oh, that was my fault. I enabled a lot of it, and I let it, because I only thought I had one soulmate. And my parents had such a strong marriage, and I wanted, something like, I wanted their marriage. And Michael was young, and I didn't want him to not to have a father. And it was so hard to break away from that.
Right.
And a lot of it was with Michael, because I wanted him to have I knew there was good in Mike when I first met him, and I saw all the good he could have been. And I wanted that for Michael, like what I had with my dad.
Of course.
So that was very hard until, again, I read your book. I know I will say that again because that really made such an impact
Well,
of me being a
and
mother.
that's another thing. When you tell people you have to do your homework, you know, read this, read it, absorb it, and then they don't do it. The answers are there. You know, it's there. You know, nothing is a mystery. What I've learned in 30 years of doing this is nothing's a mystery. You want to know the whole truth, nothing but the truth, be prepared to hear it, by the way, because that may not be what you want to hear. But if you're willing to hear it, Spirit will tell you anything you want to know. Okay? Most people can't handle the truth and they don't want to know it.
Oh, no.
But even when we've enabled somebody, we have to take the responsibility. Why did we enable them so much? Why? And crap taking. How much crap? Remember, this is a year energy. No more crap takers. That's our big no more crap takers. Okay? Like, that's what I've been talking about with the energy. Old souls have too much tolerance for abuse. They are great crap takers. And this is a year when Spirit's saying, is this a good vibe or a bad vibe? Crap does not feel good. Okay? And taking it is going to be a little harder to do because we're not supposed to do that. So I would say I've taken more crap than my share at this point in my life, more. And I really don't have much tolerance for it. How about you, Karen? You have any tolerance for crap taking?
None at all. I am so carefree when it comes to that baggage. I don't want it, and it drains me. If I'm around it, I'm exhausted.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, that's the word exhausted. Hard work doesn't exhaust us. What exhausts us?
People
Draining us.
Yeah.
People's energy, negative energies. Even it's exhausting to hear someone being negative all the time.
Yeah.
But this year, every day, I want you to say, where am I losing my power? Did anyone lose any power today?
No. I don't think I did.
Good.
I think it was pretty good today.
Now, I'm going to pull a few cards just for a little overview of what Spirit might want us to concentrate on lately. I just love this card. Anybody familiar with this one?
Can't see what it is.
Can you see it?
Is that Five of Pentacles?
Yep. It's actually yes, it is the Five of Pentacles. Yep, it is. Now, this is worrying way too much about money. Okay? But not in a constructive way. And Nicole, this is a cosmic joke for us, and I'm going to discard this one in a second. Because we're talking about penny smart and dollar foolish. Remember that?
Yep.
That was right before we got on the air. So that is what this card would be very significant.
Oh, yeah.
Now, are any of you familiar with tarot? Do you ever just draw a card
Yeah.
or two for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now this is the card I was hoping would come up because this is a new year.
Ace of Cups.
Ace of Cups.
Ace of Cups is a good one.
The Ace of Cups is what we were talking about energetically wise. How can we have this going on? It's by recognizing the energy, recognizing what we're feeling. Now, we were talking recently about 3D, 4D, and 5D energy, okay? And for years I was trying to understand that. Really. Reading books about it, and it never made any sense to me. Because everything is very complicated in the spiritual world, kind of like the technology world. Like, could you make it simple? But the 3D world is the one where it drains our energy. Okay, that is an energy drainer because it's a negative place. It's a place of ego. It's ugly energy. It's where it's dog eat dog. It's war. It's depression. It's where all addictions lie, mental illness. What I like about my two girls here is their default is 4D. You're very warm people. You come from your heart. It's a 4D energy. And then there's 5D, which is soul. And that's where sense of humor is and telepathy. We're going to toggle all day long between those energies. Karen, did you have any 3D moments at work today?
No, no. At one point, I wished I was back on the beach, but that's because I just got home last night, and I was like, "Why did I come back today?" But then the kids were good. It was really, I had a good day.
Okay, because the 3D is where we're drained. 4D is heartfelt. And those are the kind of moments you could talk to a stranger on a line and exchange a little joke, and you had this wonderful, soulful connection. And it only lasted a minute or two, but you felt really good about that. We don't have enough of those quiet interactions, brief with strangers anymore. Okay, and it was really troubling me the other day because I had to go to a psychic party and the numbers weren't in order on this street. And most of the houses didn't have numbers. So I got out of my car, I was like sort of walking up and down, and a woman came out of her house with her husband, and I said, "Oh, I'm looking for 36, do you know where it was?" And they looked at me like I was going to kill them. And it was so horrifying that they wouldn't even talk to me. And I was like, what happened to when people would like help someone if they couldn't find something? Or, even, you were both a lot younger than me, but in the days when I went to college, if you got a flat tire, you didn't have a cell phone.
No.
You were dependent on a stranger that would pull over.
Or ask for directions. Nobody even asks for directions anymore.
Nobody needs directions. Nobody will help you because everybody has their own, like, they should have their AAA or whatever they have to fix their car.
Mm-hmm.
Or their phone, call somebody else. And no one will help anybody. And that's also how you had moments of interacting in positive ways. So we're missing some of that just interaction with people that we are not related to.
Cindi, you know what? I have a funny story about that just because you said changing the tire. A couple of years ago, I ran to Home Depot. I was doing some work on my mother's house. And I ran to Home Depot because I needed a couple of things. And when I came out of Home Depot, I guess I must have lost a nail. I must have run over one and lost it because my tire was flat. So now I'm in the parking lot of Home Depot. I'm like, shit. So me being me, I get out the jack and I loosen up the bolts and I start jacking up the car because I know how to change a damn tire. I don't need anybody to help me. But it still would be nice. Right. And then I see this guy walking with this girl. And he's looking at me as he's walking by. And the girl says, "Babe, you should help her." And he looks at her, looks back at me, and he goes, "Nah, baby girl got this. Baby girl got this." And he kept on walking. Like, I know baby girl got this, but baby girl could have used a hand. But, yep.
And that's why if we can all be a positive energy infusion wherever we go, okay? Just, not be the kind of person that's a negative wherever they go. Like, you just see them come in and you want to run. You just know they're going to say something nasty or do something nasty. And that is not a good thing. But really, even the way people get food delivered to them, DoorDash, whatever, they wait till the DoorDash guy is gone and peek out the curtain and then go out. They don't even have a positive interaction with the DoorDash guy. We used to interact with people that just delivered things or came to the house. It started.
I think that's the problem with, like, I don't even think it's since COVID. I think that since we've become so dependent on computers and on constantly having a cell phone in our hands and everything else, I think what we've come to is the fact that nobody knows how to create meaningful relationships anymore. Nobody knows how to talk to somebody that is not a text shorthand or, a quick, like, voice. Like, I never understood this. Like, this generation now, they will take their phone, they will record a voice message to that person and send it through a text message, and then wait for the person that they just sent that message to record another message and send it back to them through the text app. So I'm like, if you're just going to talk to one another, why don't you just get on the phone? Like, why are we even doing it this way? Like, get on the damn phone. But you know what? People don't know how to have meaningful conversations anymore because, you can be a keyboard warrior if you want. You can say whatever you want. You never have to look the person in the face, and people think that that's okay, to say whatever they wanted, to unload on people, and then they don't have to deal with consequences because those people become somehow less real on the other side of that computer or of that text message.
No. And now
Okay.
I'm gonna pick another card about the upcoming year because we're still in the beginning of the year. This is the card. Oh, this is people learning new skills and making new money. Who's that sound like this card's for?
I hope it's for me.
This is for Nicole. Nicole's picking up all kinds of skills, all
All
kinds of
kinds of new
skills.
things, yes.
And
But I will say this, Cindy, that since I kind of got a little bit of tough love from you myself last week,
oh, I did.
last show, I did actually start to allocate a little bit of time to go and concentrate on the things I hit the pause button on. So I did do a couple of those things just because you said so.
Okay.
And yeah, so I did make the change. I didn't just listen to the advice, I made the change.
Okay. Well, that's important that you made the change. Now,
Yes.
also, this is an interesting card too. This is a lot of worry and battling down thoughts. I think people do an awful lot
Oh, yeah.
of this. Now, this goes with what we were talking about energetically. Is it a good vibe or a bad vibe what the person's doing? This is what we spent a lot of our life doing, trying to figure out why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And we battled it and battled it. That's not a good way to live life anymore. It's too
No.
draining. It's not good, and nothing ever gets solved by that. Nicole,
Yes, ma'am.
in the time that you've been doing this whole radio show and the Grant May I Hire Love and all of that, have you found more peace in your being?
Absolutely. Like I tell people all the time that before we were doing the show, and it's a shame that when we were starting to get our archives together, that the archives only went back to 2009. Because I was an angry little elf in 2007 and
There was none in
2008.
2007 and 8.
No, it just went back to 2009. That's when they started keeping everything.
I was wondering about that because I said there
Yeah.
weren't enough episodes considering how many years we did it.
Yep. Yeah. So
But
they
they
only
were up
started.
there for a long time.
They were because like their policy had
Wow.
been that they'll keep a certain number of shows and then you kind of re-record over yourself. And then they changed that policy when
Wow.
around the time that you upgraded, and then you were just allowed to keep however many hours of show. But that only started in January of '09. There was nothing before that. But it's funny because like if we had the ability to go back to '07 and '08, I was an angry little elf. And
Oh, yeah. But you were
I
young.
was.
What
But you
is,
know what?
I
I
think
was
any,
young, I was stupid, I was angry, I had energy that I did not know how to channel and things like that. And luckily, when I found you, I started sorting through some things and reluctantly, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, this lady's batty and what the hell does she know and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden I was like, aha. And more and more things were like, I'm like, all right, okay, maybe she's making a little bit of sense, and maybe
and
she's making a lot of sense, and then it just kind of morphed from there. But like, I do catch myself like, as I can still get like just fits of rage, like I still like because like I'll
oh
just
no,
sometimes
Nicole.
bottle. I do. I just sit there and I
My
bottle, and then like, all of a
Nicole.
sudden, like something will, like I'll just be bottling, 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 and then like a napkin will fall, and I will freak out about the napkin. Then I'll go,
No, don't
but
do
I
that.
can't control that right now,
Don't do
so
that.
there's no point in getting angry at it.
Nope.
And I'll catch myself and I'll work through the steps and kind of talk myself off the ledge where necessary.
And that's kind of what it is about life. Like, I think young people are very angry because, I've lived a long time. You look back, why were you so angry? Well, because we were not taught anything correctly. And then you start to realize you get a certain age that everything everybody said is not true. And you don't know what the hell to think and what's true and what's not
Oh
true.
yeah.
And then you're at an age when supposed to be a grown up and you have no real tools to be a grown up
Yep.
because you don't know how to deal with things. So I think it has to start, like even when we talked about energy and the three dimensions 3D, 4D, 5D, ego, heart, soul. If we were taught that as children, and your mother said, "You're so 3D with that anger and that nonsense of that ego," we would like snap out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's such
kind
a
of.
it's
I
such a
think so.
simple. Can you go 4D on that one to your brother, please? Instead of smacking him, could you give him a kiss and go to your heart? How about making your brother laugh? Like
Yeah.
it would be something if we were taught even when we were talking about the show, The Ladder of Love. How much pain would have been saved if we realized not all love is created equal?
Yeah.
And that cellmate love is addictive. And that things, if it's not a good vibe or a bad vibe, leave. It's not your job to psychoanalyze people. It's not your job to fix them. Like, if we had learned these things, because what happens is you get, you're in your 20s and you've been enabling people, helping people, getting screwed. All of a sudden you're very angry and you don't know what you're doing wrong, and you're angry and you're depressed because you don't know, how am I going to get out of this?
You don't know shit.
I don't have any tools to do anything differently than I've been doing it. So I've said it a million times. My mission is world peace, one soulmate couple at a time. Okay? And if we can just find better ways of communicating, and the better way of communicating is not what we're doing in the world now, which is just don't communicate.
No.
Just don't talk, don't
Well,
look
no, now in the world, everybody just yells at one another, and then as soon as they hear something they don't like, they hit that, that inner mute button, and then they just get angry and just yell over one another. Nobody knows how to have a conversation anymore.
No, and also, if everyone has to believe everything that everyone believes, or you can't be friends with them or talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Like, have
Sometimes
discussions.
you just have to agree to disagree.
And be open.
Move on.
And so basically, do you have a message for our listeners for this week? Maybe a little word of wisdom we could close our show on, something they could...
Word of wisdom.
Word of wisdom. My wisdom would be, let it go, a lot of the stuff. Let it go. Don't sweat the small stuff, okay? But figure out what you do have to sweat a little bit about, because sometimes we just are so busy distracting about nothing that we don't see the big issues, the big problems, the big things that we need to deal with. Now, how about you, Nicole? Do you have one of Nicoleisms?
Oh my God, you put me on the spot with these things. I would have had a Nicoleism prepared. Remember when I used to do the Nicoleisms back in the day?
Always.
I used to always end on like a quote or something.
Nicoleism, okay?
I don't even know where they went. They're gone.
That's because Nicole's not angry anymore. She's happy.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so my Nicoleism will be to stick in the same vein of not sweating the small stuff.
Yep.
A friend of ours gave Lisa a very, very wonderful gift one day, and it was a jar. And in that jar was little tiny wood pieces, and those wood pieces were engraved to say the word fuck.
Wow.
Or rather fucks. And there was a little poem that went with it, and the moral of the story was that you're only allocated in your life a certain number of fucks to give. And when you are younger, you give your fucks away much, much too easily.
Right.
So as you get older, pick and choose your battles, decide what hill you want to die on, and be more picky and choosy with the fucks that you give.
Right.
Otherwise, when you need to have a fuck to give, you're not going to have the energy to give it.
And that's the truth.
There you go.
That's what I said. And what is that? And it circles around to the energy.
Yep.
Because you
Absolutely.
waste your energy, and you waste your good energy, or your ability to really do something in the world, because you're drained. So.
And you said the same thing about money before. You're throwing good money after bad. You're tripping over dollars to save pennies. Don't give your energy to things that are not going to properly use your energy. And don't use your energy in ways that will ultimately harm you.